Hey, welcome back to the Keyforge Premier League. This is Jupiter Sakadera coming at you again. This is the second game today, so we are going to be highlighting a matchup between Compacta D, which is George Kegel, and Mikefuni, who is Mike Funicello, so that we can see what they're up to and what kind of things that they're getting to as far as the game goes and stuff like that. So with that said, let's jump into this game real quick and look at the decks that were picked. So Mike is bringing one of his old faithfuls. This is X Peter Penelope Meaningless Adept. This is a deck that I actually traded to him. So I know it pretty well, and it is a super harsh control deck. Once it is established, it is hard to beat. So the longer the game goes, the longer this deck, like the more favored this deck is to win, I think. So that's just how this plays out. As you can see, it has a ton of control elements in all three of the houses. It has the Six Emperor Tribute, it has the Edis and Logos and the Zestanias, which are great in the meta now, and you have the EA on the fringes, the Harbingers of Doom, and everything else. So that it's a pretty fun deck. It's a very high quality deck and super uh, good against most of the meta. But here you can see that George is bringing Capechi of the Sorrow Portal, Swallow's Portal, whatever it is. And this is a mass mutations deck that is looking to take full advantage of the angry mob. We saw him play this one last week as well. And the Cyberclone Zenzen deck, lots of speed and lots of amber production. So this will give the pacing. This, I think, an early game win goes to George, a late game win goes towards Mike. But we'll see if Mike can get himself to the late game, as George has a pretty interesting amber burst in this deck that goes with Transporter, Portal, and stuff like that. So with all that said, let's get to the game and let them go ahead. Go ahead. So they were waiting for me so that I could give you guys a decent rundowns of the deck for once, instead of just having a quick look and game in. So we're going to do this going play-by-play style and see how it goes. So I'm going to disappear now, as you don't need to see my ugly face here. Give you guys a draw on the archives so that you can see the archives. Let me make sure that I'm in the right size font. Yeah, I'm too big. So let's go here. Archives will go there. These archives will go over here. And we will be on their way. So here they go. Dealt closed hands. All good. We'll let them go with that one. All right. Do 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 do. Here goes Mike trying to be a lawyer. This is not a live stream. This is still a recorded stream. I'm just doing my commentary on top of it, so that way I don't have to rework the rework. Oh, that's way too small, folks. That is a babbling bibliothèque. Bibliophile. All right, we'll do that. Bring this over. It's way too big, I think. All right, let's get to a good size here, folks. I don't know why this thing switches every time I use it, but here we go. So that's still pretty small. I guess we don't need these archive tools up. Let's get you guys better view on the cards, at least. It's probably the best that we can do here, and then we'll F11 up there. That'll help a little bit, I think. as I finagle with the settings again, because the settings never work the same. Alright, so there's the archives. So, picking up where we left off here, it is Mike's turn, and Mike is basically coming out, shooting in deaths, and trying to keep George down off the board state, so he can't really push his amber counts. Normally this deck will go down a couple, but like George has a lot of interesting things to go here as far as like the way he's going to attack this board state. So the Commandeer is big, and he basically gets to draw amber off of Mike and keep Mike down. And he gets to play his Angry Mob, which captures one, and then he follows up with a Barista Joya, which is a very underrated card. Card basically makes it so Mike can no longer get any value from reaping, which is pretty huge. So we'll see where Mike heads with this turn. My son is learning the Russian alphabet as we do this commentary. Here we go. Mike is heading into Logos, where he's going to work a Twin Volta mission and plays a Desania. Cutthroat Research to get some amber. Plays the Edai to get some denial, some key denial on the board, at least for a little bit. Be interesting to see. So we see George taking his turn, getting ready to make a push in Sanctum again. So I'm guessing we might see another Angry Mob, as the Angry Mob is the engine that could here. So there comes the Angry Mob again, and another Angry Mob. Mob is getting very angry. Barista Joya reaps, he gets to 6. So he's still not on check because of the Edai. Oh no, the Edai's gone. Never mind, he killed it. But he doesn't like commercials. Especially ones in Slavic. Are we going to see a D's turn, and are we going to start to see the Infernus train? Are we going to see some Saurians? We haven't seen any Saurians yet. Nope, we go back to Logos. Does he have the second Edai? There's a Tatsu Vapors. Maybe he's digging for it. Came into the archives when hands are not shown, so I will play this one in the dark with you. So there's the Jargoogle and the daughter, Desania. So he's trying to get some value here. What might he have under the Jargoogle? Maybe a Harbinger of Doom? Maybe. Maybe a 6 Semper? Lots of different cards that could be popping underneath that thing. So now we see a relatively small turn from George. But he does get his key off, and he does play a Forge Compiler. Basically saying, if you're going to make a key, my guys are going to be safe. Alright, so there we see the Harbinger of Doom hits the table. Gleeful Mayhem, gonna end all things. And the Jar Google does hold another Harbinger. Having played Mike a couple of times, it was always like one of those kind of choices for him. So we have a Reap Out versus United Archons match going on right now, which is pretty fun. So now we see the redder come into play. But nice to have seen that before the first key, but it has arrived. Music by the Bass Rebels off of Spotify. If you guys are Twitch streamers and you want a cool playlist, the Bass Rebels are a pretty sweet list, and it's all you have to do is put them in your notes saying that the music is by them and give them a little shout out, and boom, you get lots of decent music for your stream. Very peaceful and casual, as Harlan does jumping jacks to the Cyrillic alphabet. So we see Mike moving into his turn, having to start to worry a little bit about the Star Alliance setup that is being set up. Though the wards on the creatures do hinder George from using the teleporter efficiently, so the Forge compiler kind of set him back a little bit with that, at least for now. Here comes the Dino Knight. Zik to Exalt, do damage. And he is continuing to push his advantage, trying to get to that second key. So Mike still has his Obsidian Forge and this is not going to be overly good. But he does have the Exhume still, so that is big. a big round for Mike there, as he is able to play the 6 Semper after the tribute and get like a lot of value off of that, and put some pressure on George, who has some answers, but like not the kind of answers that are going to deal with that kind of burst, I don't think. So it'll be interesting to see if he can catch back up here, since we've already seen Commandeer go to the discard pile, I believe. That's like one of his best outs. Yeah, Commandeer is there already. So George is a little bit behind now. Mike is kind of cinching in right now. The reversal match will be very fun to watch. So I think Mike is going to play his Logos and go for the throat here, try to get to 6 and keep his amber pressure up. There he goes. Can he hit the 6? Oh, he couldn't get to 6 though. Unfortunate. Turn 9. And the pressure is on. And Mike is about to recycle his deck. Minus a Ludo and a Babel. So what haven't we seen in his deck yet? We still haven't seen the second tribute, right? Like he only played 1. Still has the Favor of Rex. Sorry about that, I believe. So I think he has a pretty decent amount of... How many... Did he play both his tributes? No, so he still has a tribute in hand. He still has, or he still has it, well, it's in his hand. It's got to be in his hand, right? So there's still the Exhume. I haven't seen the Exhume yet come out. Evil Eye hasn't come out. So Mike has a pretty hodgepodgey hand right now. Like a little bit of steel, I think, in Logos maybe left. I don't recall fully everything he's played. I haven't been keeping up. But at this point, with the draw being 0, like George has perfect information on what should be in his hand in archive. Hey! So here comes the angry mob again. So George threw away a lot of cards. There's a Censor Chief Garcia that could have been helpful in there. There is a Red Alert, Lay of the Land. There's a lot of cards there that could have turned out to be helpful to him. But the good news for him is we didn't see a Commandeer come out. So that is like one of his best Amber Swing cards. So Mike pushes himself up to 8 while taking away all of the Amber from George. So now we'll see what happens here. Mike is sitting in a pretty strong position. He's got his reshuffle on too, so now it's wide open. But you see he came out with that tribute, the sorry. Or the sorry about that. That's a good card. He still has Favor of Rex, which is a really tricky good card, so. But can he stop the Amber is the question. He cannot, and Mike takes game 1. So as we wait, I will pop back on. Boom, here I am. But note to self and to everyone else that there is a tournament coming up soon on the 7th of November if you haven't heard. And that tournament, you can find information for it at the Crazy Killing Machine Network Keyforge Premier League page. Here you go. I'll give you guys a quick view of it so you guys can see. But this is the Keyforge Premier League page that is under the Crazy Killing Machine Network.co.uk. You can literally come right here to the thing and go to the home page. It will bring you straight to this page, which has all these cool aspects. We've just added a really neat feature. If you click on Season 1, you can see the regions and you can see the Americas. Like all these are the people that qualified from the Americans. Here's the European qualified people, and here's the APAC people. So, you know, cool little gimmick, little gimme there. And then you have the group results. A, like you can see here, the Group A is going to have live standings. This is what we're in now, so you can see that the games are being played and see how they turned out. So that's neat. As you can see, we're in this game right now, so that score will be updated soon. And tomorrow, I believe, we finish this group with Corey, Than, and Cav. So there's all that. So sweetness, sweetness, right? As we get ready to go back into the game and see what is in store for our reversal group here. Alright, let's see what the password is this time. Alright, so as we move into this game, we will see what it lays in the books for these guys. As this time we should get open hands so that we can better see what is going on, which will be more interesting this time because they're playing each other's deck. And I know that Peter's is pretty hard to play, but so is George's deck. George's deck is really, really different, hard. So you see George opening up with a Tribute, 6 Semper combo, Edai, Interdimensional Graft, Obsidian Forge, and a Harbinger of Doom. I don't know if that is a kind of hand that you want to start the game with, and he agrees as he mulligans and gets into a little bit of an Amber Rush situation here with getting 3 Logos cards, which I still think is better than what he had. And now we have Mike going in and playing out the cards that he was dealt. So we will see what happens as these two juggernauts go at it. So we see Compacta D doing the Tata Vapors, like chaining a bunch of Amber and basically just trying to get ahead on the board early with the Logos things that he's basically pulling out. So we see a response from Mike as he plays the Sensor Chief Garcia and a Stealth Stir with a access denied. So this creature cannot reap. And he's elusive. But he can attack. Now George comes back and he answers with a Titan Guardian and a Interdimensional Graft just to get the Amber off of it. Continues to try to grow that Amber state and cycle through cards. I mean, he's in a good position too because he does have the Harbinger of Doom in hand for a board reset if the board gets too thick, and he has things he can target with the 6 Emperor and Tribute. So that is a good thing. So you see a little bit of a rush there by Mike. He's spreading out his his creatures. Not sure why he feels he has to do that. Yeah, there's no tanks in this, so I don't know why he didn't go to get more value off of his Zenzek by playing it in the middle, but interesting thing, I'll have to ask him later. And there goes the board. Boom goes the Harbinger. But George still hasn't made a key yet, so that's kind of, I guess it's kind of par for course for that deck though. But Mike hasn't made a key yet, and that's probably putting him a little bit behind in this game as George starts to develop more and more of a defensive-based hand, as we can see. And there is the favor of Rex. As George pushes to 6 amber. Sorry. So we are still jabbing. No heavy throws yet. Mike's deck, played by George, is quite a bit ahead right now. I think the deck is pretty favored here to win at this point. But we'll see if Mike can turn the game around. But his deck is, I think, very good. It does lots of dirty things. I have a feeling this game will be going to the bid. Mike's still trying to make a game out of it though, so we'll see. I guess if he gets a couple of enchantments moving and gets them on the board where he can load them up and get some value off them, he could get a bit of an amber push there. But right now it looks like George is sitting, waiting for him to make that amber so he could just take it right back. That's what I'm seeing right here. This is definitely going to be a big EA turn, I believe. As I don't believe that Tribute is the right play at this point. So EA doing his work is taken away. He's So now he uses the EA to get the Buzzle on board, and he's going to go to town with the Buzzle. Not a bad move. To reap or to fight, that is the question. He chooses to purge daughter. Put more damage on the... Wiping out the champion and a fail. So George tried to sacrifice the Redum, but the Redum had a ward on it, so therefore the Buzzle is not ready because it doesn't actually get sacrificed. It's a good time to call Judge. Or in a league like that, you could have just asked his opponent, since his opponent knows. Will that be the window that Mike needed to get back in the game? We'll have to wait and see. There's the tribute. There's the protection. Interesting. What will Mike do here? I think the right answer here is to go Star Alliance, bring out the teleporter, get it online, use Lay of the Line to get deeper in, play the enchantment. Get ready to rumble. This enchantment will allow him to capture one here as well. Oh, he played it on the bot Bookton, oddly. Interesting. I guess he sees himself going into a bigger Logos turn and trying to get that Dimension Door online. It's a lot of Amber that he could basically grab back that way. He's still about a key behind, which is pretty significant. Oh, there's another big one. See, if he was gonna do that there's no reason. Like, he could have put that on the research Smoko if he knows he's gonna try to Dimension Door. But instead, now he's just loading up. I guess it doesn't have it has an Amber Pip on it too, so that is relevant. That one is definitely much better to have out there, but that's that's like one Amber every time now that he could have had there. But I guess he was hedging his bet towards the Dimension Door at the time. But if that's the case, then there might have been a good reason to just put it on the Smoko as well. But I guess he wants to get the transporter platform online with the draw pit and the extra Amber. So the Mike has some pretty good bursty potential set up on the board here, but it's going to be answered. We still have a Tribute, and we still have a Axiom of Grease. The Axiom, now that the captures are there, that will stop the Axiom from being as effective. Taking all that amber back. We see in his hand he does have a Dino Knight. If that Dino Knight hits the board, he can use one that stood against many and wipe out that Odak and still come back out with Barrister Joya and a Purify. The Purify will knock out the Dino Knight and draw you into whatever this last draw card is, hopefully. Or if he doesn't want this card, he can remove it by giving up the Dino Knight. So lots of options here for Mike to figure out what he wants to do. But none of them are good for removing the amber that is about to make a key for George. So he has to get on board soon, or on the board soon, or he's just gonna fall farther behind here. But X Peters is definitely a super high quality deck. I think with a decent amount of chains on the deck, I think Mike's deck will lose to this deck though, because of how slow it comes out the gate. Like if he takes too many chains and George's deck comes out flying, like I don't know if it's going to have a chance to catch up. Like in this game, George's deck came out really slow. We'll see. Mike's not too far behind because he still has the Odak with 8 amber there, so George does have to make some plays, but we'll see. Let's see what comes of this. Alright, it's a big turn for Mike, and what he decides to do here could be the difference in the game. I don't hate a Sanctum turn here, and just get rid of stuff that's on the board. Make it so he can't do much. Get your 8 amber back, make your key, and move forward. Because you do have the one that stood against many, so that Barista Joya can do some work against the 2 smaller guys. You still have the Dino Knight to wipe out the Odak, so. and he has Commandeer as well, so. He could decide to wait a turn and try to get into the Star Alliance, because the 1 damage is enough to kill the Odak, which would be a big play. It's a big brain play. That'd be pretty neat. Okay, so he did go Sanctum's route. There's the angry mob. I think the red alert turn there might have been better in the longer run to basically just clear that out and save that amber, that Sanctum play for another round, because he could have got the same kind of results. Got a lot more amber swing to him, but he is at 12, so it's not a bad deal. There's the scary part now with the Harbinger. That's going to give George 3 amber back if he's not careful. There's the redder. I don't know if I play the redder there, knowing that the Harbinger's out. Ooh, but he draws into some gas. George sitting on a Cutthroat Research and 2 E-Dies. That's pretty sweet. That's what Xpeaters does. It just brings that kind of game to the table. But Mike is definitely playing George's deck well. So we'll see what happens. Here comes that Star Alliance burst turn. Will it be enough? He's using Angry Mob to take out the Gallum, thinking that the Gallum is somewhat of a threat, which it is, but it isn't. Bigger threat here is going to be the double E-Die that comes out. Here we go, folks. It's about to get real. What card did he draw? He drew another enchantment. Oh no. Was that another enhancement that he drew? I think it was. So is that going to be enough amber? No, it's not, because he needs to get to 10 to beat the E-Die. But the E-Die are life support. We have to see if they're going to be enough to slow this down. There's the Cutthroat Research to take some of that amber back and put himself up to check. And now it's going to get real. Oh, he draws the 6 Semper too. So, oh. George does not have a really good answer if Mike finds a way to stop him here. What is that way? Star Alliance. He's going to try to use Star Alliance to figure something out here. What does he have in Star Alliance? There's an Angry Mob. He does have the Observe You maxes for capturing, so that's kind of big. So that's a known blaster shield thing, is that if you click on it at any time, it moves. And
Oh, get your hands off there. Arlen?
so Mike has whittled him down. George does have the ODAC that can steal 1, so Mike still has to get more amber, which he will with the transporter platform. But after that, it could be game over. He deals with that Ed-Eye, which he does. He Pushes him only to 6 though. 6 is not enough. Transporter platform has to do some work now. Mm. Now he could 6 Semper his Harbinger, kill the board, and then reload with Saurians. Most powerful creature is actually Barista, so never mind. He cannot sim Semper. He would have to kill the Barista first. There's the Amber Grab. I think that's GG. As Cyberclone can't do the work it needs to do here. I guess if he can draw into something in Logos. What does he have? FRS Principle? Have we seen it yet? Nope, that's in the graveyard. So there's really, he's drawing kind of dead here. It should be game over. Looking like George is going to hang on and do what Peters does. We're going to see a game 3. And George is taking the set, so. And we will be moving on to see what happens there as we move into game 3 of this classic matchup. And we will see what happens. Got 40 minutes for this last game in this classic matchup. Excuse me. Don't tell me I'm about to get hiccups. We don't want hiccups in round 3. That'd be horrible. Round 3. This is where it's at, Vincent. This game is going in round 3. This best of 3 matchup. Alright. So the players are still getting in. Looks like both of the players are taking a restroom break. So they will be right back. And as will I. I'm going to do the same while they are doing it as well. Alrighty. I am back as we are still waiting on George. George is still not in the queue. So. I'm eating my dinner as we speak. Mushroom rice goulash. George making you guys wait. Alright, so while we're doing this, I guess I could take you to an event. So here we are on the Keyforge Premier League page again. If you come down here to Keyforge Premier League tournaments, you'll see we have our first big tournament coming up with our new stream, where it's going to be Fall Mass Mutation Madness 2-Deck Survival. Mass Mutation only, November 7th, $10 entry fee. 80% of that is going to be paid out to the top person, and you also have a chance to win 20 Dark Amber play tokens from Luxurious Playstyle. So here's all the information right here. 2-Deck Survival. Only one will win. Only in the end, there can only be one. So November 7th, 11 a.m. Eastern. $10 entry, and you can see right here, the big part of it is right here. Invitation to the KFPL Season 2. That's huge. So this is one of the ways that we're going to try to supplement the prize pool for Season 2 as well with these tournaments. We're going to try to do at least one a month. They get real popular, maybe two. And that way we can drive the rewards up for the league. So we'll see what happens. This is all tournament organization based, like it's still zero profits. So 20 Dark Amber from Luxurious Playstyle. That's a $55 MSRP, giving away free for anybody that basically just shows up to play. Your name goes in the raffle for it, and like basically it's going to be given away. Look at those beautiful things. I have some myself. These things are amazing, very high quality, very well crafted, and hopefully you guys will enjoy them if you win them. If you don't, just give them to me. I'll take them. I could always use more as Harlan goes postal. And so to enter the tournament, you need to use this PayPal Me account for the $10, and then fill out this registration form, and then Z will add you to the challenge bracket, and you will be ready to go and ready to play. So do that. Don't be square, and we'll see. Who bids first? You will at 0. All right, George is back. It looks like we're gonna finally get this puppy on the way. All right, so let's bid. Mike made the game wrong. So both players are after Peters, and George jumps straight to 6 chains. Mike bid 7. Mike gets to play his deck at 7 chains. Yep, so the game is off and running. So Mike made his choice to play first, and it ended in his favor, so yay for him. No crazy restarts needed for this round. Alright, this game should be pretty interesting. Last game, Mike had a chance to win with George's deck, and he didn't take full advantage of it. And so here we are with he's dealing with 6 chains left, 5 chains left actually to get rid of before he can get back to a maximum draw. So I think ideally his goal is to keep George like at most at like 1 key, like 6 amber 1 key range, before he sheds these chains. If he can do that, I think he could probably recoup. But there's the transporter platform, but there's no creature for him to put the... well, actually, there's one creature. There's the tank. So he can start to get some transporter manipulation down. Could get dangerous if he draws a couple more, but he does not. So interesting to see that. But he is setting up his Sanctum. There's the Commandeer as well. That's a big card. Mike is actually shooting off pretty good right now. Like his deck is looking pretty strong. It's not coming out weak, so that is a plus for him. If Mike can weather the storm and get to 0 chains and be like at a key, that's pretty impressive. Like usually Peters doesn't come out that fast. It's more of a counter-punching deck, and it's interesting to see how he pilots it, because he pilots it better than anybody else in the world. It's definitely like his deck. So this is one of my Worlds teammates, if we ever have Worlds again. I see Buzzle purging the Desania. It's been a very popular target for Buzzle this past couple games. Buzzle likes the taste of Desania. So the Commandeer comes into play now, and there's still 2 chains left, but Mike has weathered the early storm fairly well. It's just a matter if he can maintain the board state, because George does have the Everessence Principle and the Garcia still in hand, so Mike is not going to get a key easily, but Mike does have the 6 Semper in hand. And that 6 Semper can definitely take Amber off of that that Anafel, and if he strikes it now, like if he hits that 6 Semper now, it does take the Observe You Max out of play for the thing. Okay, so he just wipes the whole board. Mike was like, I am not messing around anymore. Harbinger Doom time. Boom. Gets his key, and he's going to give up a key here to George, but he got rid of a good... George saying he might as well scoop on that since he punted. George playing on tilt maybe? Not happy with his play, but let's see if he can recuperate. The best players always do mentally. But now the confidence is starting to kick in as the last chain comes off, and Mike is in a much better spot than I expected him to be in with it being down for that long. But George did draw into some gas. He's got some stuff going on right here. The angry mob is ready to get some work done. Free markets for 2. There's the smite. Smiting the angry mob as he runs into the Odak. Another angry mob comes out who is going to stand against the many. Is he? Yep. So he fights there and should be able to go get another mob. Or is that all the mobs? Is he out of mobs? He was out of mobs, folks. But he does get to recycle his deck. So the mobs are back. Tell you this Group A is going to be interesting. It has so many solid players. The whole league has solid players, but I just happen to know more about the ones in Group A than I know about most of the others. But Carl probably would say the same about Group C or Group D because he is more Euro-sided, so he knows more of those players. So in the end, it'll all come down to one player being crowned the head of the king of the Keyforge Premier League. And we have some interesting like rollover stats that we're going to start for the league as well, where we're going to keep track of points and stuff. And as long as you're active in the league and you don't fall out, you become king of the hill. But as soon as you get booted out of the league and you don't qualify for the next league, you lose all those points and you go back to 0. So like there'll always be a rotating king of the hill, and we'll see who can hold it the longest. And we're gonna create a cup and put people's name on it every season for the person who's king of the hill. So we'll see what happens there. I think it's gonna be a very fun thing to do. I'm gonna do it no matter what. Like I think it's a great idea. So for as long as the seasons go, we're going to have that cup, and people will get to see it and be part of the stream. We'll put it up in, with the name on it. Both people claiming to have punted now. Mike says he's punted twice that turn, so that means the favor is in George's court again, right? Like, because if you punted twice, it's like 2 possessions. I don't know. I don't know where these football terms come into Keyforge, but they're here. Mr. George Kegel recently married now to Mrs. Kegel, Grace. She's a wonderful human being. I don't know her that I've never actually met her, but just from the interactions I've had with her, she sounds like she's absolutely amazing. George, congratulations on your marriage. Mike is a father who lives in Albany, New York. Very class guy, teammate of mine, like I said, for Worlds. Very excited to represent United Archons. We'll have Blake along with us from Help from Future Self. Also has a podcast. Should go check them out. He also has a lot of YouTube content under Boulevard Blake. Should start to support him and give him some shout outs. Tell him that Jupiter sent you from the Keyforge Premier League. He's one of our promotion guys now. He's always been part of my team. Blake is classy. Support all the content creators you can find. D-Hoss, you're out there, I know. Tabletop Royale, you have like Sanctimonious running streams. You have Muffins has a stream sometimes. You have Vincent Turner running streams over in the UK. You got Keyforger in Australia. You have like so many different people producing content for Keyforge. And the only way that the content gets better or gets more hype is by you guys supporting it. So make sure you follow and like and do all the things that you can do free to help them out. Say hello when you pop into their chats, and just give them the tick. Put the check in the box for them, so that they continue to be encouraged to keep producing things for you and to help grow the game. So if you're a new player and you're trying to figure out how this game works, come to our Discord, the KFPL Discord, and we will be more than glad. I will be more than glad to coach you when I'm not recording games. I love to help people learn how to play Keyforge. This game is fantastic. So we see here on turn 9, the game is getting real, where George has pushed to 2 keys now, and Mike is on his heels a little bit. But when X Peter is on his heels, that's when he always turns the game around and comes right back and smashes people. So we'll see what happens here. We have a big disc turn, it looks like, coming. EA going to do some work. Commandeer is such a good card. What's in the archives here? Ancient Power and Cutthroat Research. I think they'll stay there when we go into Dees here, and he blows the board up and then gets his value off of EA. He could exhume back almost anything. He could even exhume back an EA and get like more value off of it. That's kind of gross. But we could also see him exhume back another beast creature. Where's Reap? Here comes the blow up, and he's going to get to draw 2 cards off that blow up as well. So instantly, new cards coming to his hand. Well, maybe he's not. He's thinking about it. He's going to play the EA first. Interesting. Discards the Gleeful Mayhem. I think you use the Gleeful Mayhem there at least, like, kill the Sanctum creature. Could have got value by killing the drawing 2 cards off of the Titan. I don't know. Conservative line maybe? I'm aggressive. I'd probably be way more aggressive with that play, but we'll see what happens here. Ooh, George has a clone. There's a standardized testing. And he clones the EA to purge the EA. Don't recall what he played under the jar Google. Ever Essence Principle did its job last turn. And George is looking for a pretty big burst turn next turn too, off of the free markets. And then being able to Angry Mob and get some cycling going with the Angry Mob, and the Barista Joya will cap off the ability to reap. So Obsidian Forge will not be a direct threat. Interdimensional Graft is pretty much a pip at this point. Not going to really do that much work. So there was an Axiom of Grisk under the Jergoogly. So he doesn't really draw too much help here. Like, he really needed a tribute. So he does have an Exhume, but the Exhume could bring back the EA. And he does have a pitch for 1, but he doesn't have too much like value coming out of this. It's not a comfortable spot for him to be in, I don't think. Oh, George gives him back the Amber. Plays the Joya, and he's at 6. So Mike is going to forge a key for 6 here. I guess we're going to see the EA come into play because it has to. The EA will get him to 6, right? Because he's going to Exhume, bring in EA. Nope, because if he Festering touches, like, he won't get the same kind of value. He can't reap, so this is tricky. There's the EA to keep him off, but George is about to come back and just pile on this Amber. So if he doesn't draw a tribute and a big creature, like, I don't think he has a chance here. He needs something that's bigger than 5 or bigger, to be able to pull a tribute combo. He does not draw it. So this looks like this game might be headed George's way, even after him fighting his way out of chains. Unless I'm missing something. Which I don't think I am. I guess there is the chance that if he goes to 8, but you can steal 2, but like if you steal 2 and Logos, that's all you can do, and it's going to put him back down to 6, and there's no way for him to tax that hand, so I don't see a way out for Mike here. I think Mike is done. Put him in the pressure cooker. There's Mike getting up to 10. That should be game over, I think. There it is. Good game. 2-1. George takes it down. Uh, Mike is mad at himself, I believe. But who knows? But thanks for watching, and thanks for tuning in. He did all he could do, and it was a good game both ways. Both made some mistakes. Both played very good, though. Like it was a very tough game. So hopefully all things will work themselves out, and in the end, both of these guys will find a way through. But until next time, this is Jupiter from Manlius, New York, reminding you that the Keyforge Premier League is here for you and because of you. So thank you so much, and keep forging.